Hello everybody, and welcome to the next update for the League of Extraordinary Investigators. I thought I would just post a very short video with some new information about the League. I can't believe it's less than 2 weeks away now, and I thought it was time to add some extra information about it. So yeah, a couple of things. First of all, I just want to say, a huge thank you to everybody who is participating. It's the response has been fantastic. It's really great to see a community of people coming together and getting excited about doing this. I know I'm excited. I hate to think how I'm going to go. I'm not used to it being such a competitive thing as it's usually a cooperative game, but I'm super excited, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page as we move forward. And this is what this is a video that really supports the previous video I put out, but I just wanted to keep the information flowing through for everybody. First thing is that please create your decks on ArkhamDB and post those up on the page. The other thing is, it's okay if you post up your deck and then you test it a bit and you tweak it and you post it up again. That's perfectly okay, as long as that happens before the 1st of May. You know, I'm going to do that. Other people have done that. There's no problem with that. There's nothing that says once you've posted it up, that's it. You can't change it. Of course you can change it. You just can't change it after the 1st of May. So, but before then, by all means, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, the other thing is, some of you may have seen my live draw, which came up in the poll. I did live draw a standard weakness, basic weakness for everybody to use. They were all the double action discard basic weaknesses, which means you can either sort of take the hit from them if you want, or you can spend 2 actions to get rid of them. There's really no one best way to deal with weaknesses, but this feels like the fairest way. So everybody will be putting Hypochondria into their deck, which is, as we know, you take 1 or more damage, you take a direct horror. And for some investigators, they might go, well, that's not too bad, I've got a ton of horror I can take. Others might not want to keep that, and of course it depends when it turns up. It may turn up later in a scenario where you don't want to take horror, even if you're fairly robust in the sanity department. So I think it's a reasonable one to draw. So Hypochondria is the standard weakness. So scoring for the league table's been finalized. There was some conversations about that. I wasn't exactly sure how we should do it. I always had in my mind it would just be straight XP, but that has some issues with it, so that has been finalized and tweaked, and thank you for all of the players who provided feedback and thoughtful feedback, because that was really helpful in coming to a sort of decision on that. And so the consensus decision, and that which I think is the most popular in the poll, is the following: that victory points are the best way to score points on the table rather than experience points, and there's good reason for this. Experience points, in some scenarios, you get bonus experience points in the early scenarios of Dunwich Legacy for actual failure. So it would be kind of perverse, because if you were actually playing to optimize your experience points, you would actually want to fail some of the early scenarios. And so that didn't feel right. Victory points are much more straightforward. You know, we get victory points, you get your bonus XP, of course, but victory points are the way that we're going to rank the league, and then of course how quickly you complete a scenario becomes the sort of secondary consideration on your ranking. Earned XP will be used for improving decks, and everybody will use their own individually earned XP. So we're not going to have a situation where everybody gets a standard amount of XP. There was some talk about that, and whilst I can see the merit of that, I think it doesn't exactly reward those who take risks and those who play well. So I think from that perspective, and indeed in the early stages, those who don't do so well will get some bonus XP as well. So there is some benefit from that perspective as well. Yeah, everybody applies their individual earned XP. And then, of course, the upgraded decks must be posted on the Facebook page. We'll get into some more details around the timetable for that a little later on. So, as we know, as I said before, a player is killed or removed from the game for any reason. They stay on the table, but they obviously can't accrue further points because they can't get any more victory points. But one change here is that, again, it's a bit of a perverse outcome, which makes sense from a campaign perspective. But in the final two scenarios of the Dunwich Legacy, if you fail or die in the final two scenarios, you get no victory points awarded, which feels a little bit unfair in the sense that if you've gone through and you just happen to have died at the end, the second last scenario, and the reason for that is, of course, if you're playing the campaign then you died, well, why would you get victory points? You're gone. But I think in this case it would be fine that if you die in the last, second last, or the last two scenarios, the victory points for that particular scenario would be counted. So you're dead, you can't get any more victory points. Or for example, if there are a few people in the final part of the final scenario, then I think again it's only fair that you count the victory points in that way. But obviously in the case of somebody being alive at the very end, then I think obviously they would be higher on the table than somebody who wasn't. So, yes. And next week, just quickly next week, I'm going to do some more, I'm going to ask some more questions of everybody, but we need to get into the nitty-gritty of reviewing and verifying play, timetable for completion. It can't last 6 or 8 months, obviously, and all those sort of nitty-gritty play specific details. So I'm going to put some more posts and polls up about that, about how we might do that. Do we really need 2 people to verify every single play? Could 1 person be enough? Should we allow a week for people to complete each scenario, so that would take 8 weeks, or do we need to allow more time? How do we kind of line up verification? Does everybody just verify whoever, or do we align it? Do we have some kind of a timetable where you get buddied up with someone to verify them? There's all those sorts of things. I haven't thought them through, all that so specific details yet, but that will be on my mind in the coming week. So that's it. Thank you to everyone who's registered so far. I hope you're getting as excited as I am, and no doubt we'll speak soon. Thank you, and see you soon.